inflammation is one of the greatest causes of aging that we have. It was the inflammation in our joints. But we have interactions in our cells and throughout our entire body. As inflammation builds up and we get a histamine reaction response, that hurts our health. And so constantly, our body in different places is going through this. So glucosamine helps to take care of that. Well, these are the things that we seek out. And so as Tom was developing the mission, I became very intrigued with the chemistry. And so that's really where I took off, was into manufacturing and research and putting products together and looking for this. And so I've developed hundreds of thousands of products that don't make it to market, but I'm researching and doing this all the time. And that's really where my interest in the business has been, to promote better health, to help people overcome the obstacles they have. And if we look at it, it's really, when we get out of balance, typically we go to a doctor. And not a bad idea if you break your leg or break your arm or something bad happens. We need doctors, and they are great at what they do. But what they do is they attack the symptom, don't they? And so you look at something, if you ask a doctor, can you get rid of Crohn's disease? And that's really where you have a leaky gut and you're having issues with that. Many people, and you can research this, you'll see that if they change their diet, they get off, they're not eating too much red meat, they're taking lactobacillus, which you find in balanced D. If they do a detoxification like our super detox and get their body back in system, there's been great results with that. But what would a doctor do? He'd give you an antibiotic, and that would kill everything in your system, and then you actually acerbate the situation. But there's things like this, that good health and powerful nutrition can turn our lives. And I mean, there's thousands of examples that I can give to you. And so for many years, I've looked at multivitamins and even discussing it with Dad. He's like, there's nothing exciting about that. You know? You think I dress wild? That's exciting. I think he got most of Liberace's clothes in the Anyway, he's got a real flair for life. You know. But multivitamins, those are key to what we need every single day. And it's not so much of curing and treating, it's a foundation for our body. We have 13 in the Encompass product. We have all 13 essential vitamins. And why are they called essential? Because you have to have them. If you do not have vitamin C, you do not produce collagen and elastin. That's a major component in your skin. You get scurvy, if you do not have vitamin A in your diet, especially kids. 500,000 kids go blind every year in third world countries because of the lack of vitamin A. And so what I've done is I've gone out and found the very good sources, and we don't, as you'll see, we have up to 1,000% of RDA levels, because not just giving you the building blocks, there's specific science attached to the amount of vitamins that are there. If you look at Alzheimer's, they just released a study on that shows that 3 of these B vitamins at these levels, guess what? People, as they get older, their brain doesn't shrink in size, which is one of the issues that you have with Alzheimer's. And so there's many things that are linked to this. So what do we do? Not just vitamins, how do we make this unique? So when I looked at this, I looked at it from a brain and a fatigue and stamina, and also from the nutritional standpoint and immune system building. So the vitamins that you find in there, and then also you'll see there's a unique blend in there, where I have different herbs and things in there that have studies associated with those that actually increase our stamina, help us fight. I mean, we all know B vitamins help us with fatigue and stamina, and that's really important. But if you look at rhodiola, in fact, many of our friends here from Eastern Europe would be very familiar with that. Rhodiola has been studied for many, many years through the former Soviet Union and up through Siberia, and they actually still use it today to treat people who have high altitude sickness, because it helps to oxygenate our body, it helps us get over fatigue, and makes us feel better and respond quicker after we've been exhausted. But there's many things in there that also help with brain function. so if you're taking Brain Vitality, the multivitamin is a great product to go with that. It's a great product to go with everything because it has the foundation that you need to build on every single day. These vitamins are called essential because your body does not make these. You have to get them through diet. Now, one thing we know, virtually everybody is deficient in some area within their diet. So we bring everybody up to 100% level by taking this formulation to where they can build good health on that. And then we have different product lines, as you're aware of, anti-aging, we have Eternity, the Fucoid is very crucial with that. The TSX formulation we have that comes out of Nobel Prize, winning research that shows that you can produce telomerase. We had a woman who came in a couple of weeks ago, and she was, how old was she? Do you remember that, Bobby? Oh, yeah. Remarkable. I'll tell you what. Barbara, yeah, and I'll tell you what, it was incredible to hear her story. In fact, she dropped down and gave us 20 push-ups. And my whole point with this is I'd love to hear the feedback and the results that you're getting, and to see her get on the floor and give 20 push-ups. I'll tell you what, there's not many people that can do that anymore in today's society. And so this is just the beginning. What really makes Sizzle exciting is the opportunity, and the opportunity to create not just wealth, but great health. So we've combined the two together, and you've gone through the manufacturing facility. There's a reason why most companies don't make their own products. Number one, they really don't care to get to that level. They don't want to do the research, and they're not concerned about controlling their own destiny at that level. I get people all the time who come to the facility. Every month we'll get 2 or 3. I've got a marketing plan. What can I put in there? And then it's typically, like Dr. Oz, if something he says raspberry ketone is the fruit of the month or ingredient, that's what they want. I mean, it's smart from a marketing standpoint to go after that, because there's millions of dollars of advertising associated with that. But when we bring out something like the Fucoid, everybody goes, what? How do you pronounce that? But we bring it out because it is an incredible product. I mean, we actually go right to the and hire people to swim down, haul it off, and bring it back up, and transport it over. I guess you probably saw the spray dryer today also. We spray dry it, we bring down the moisture content, purify it, then we go through the sulfonization process and blend the product up that way. So this is why we have manufacturing, because we can do unique things that other people can't and won't. Because what we've seen over the years is that science is 5, 10, 20 years ahead of what we're doing in the industry. If you look at personal care alone, most all of the ingredients go back to the 1920s. When you go and you buy Dove soap, Ivory, some of these things, these were formulations that go back that far, and the FDA stamped them as safe at that point. So what's happened over time, we find out that many of the ingredients, parabens and formaldehyde donors coming from quaternarium-15, cocamide DEA that's used in virtually all hair shampoos has nitrosamines. But because people don't get up every day and shampoo their hair and brush their teeth and fall over dead in the shower, it's okay. But what happens when you're older? All of a sudden you start to show that mileage, don't you? And it's just like when we tell your kids, oh, you better not eat that, don't smoke, don't drink, you'll pay for it later on in life, don't stay out in the sun, because 40 years from now you're going to start to get sunspots and things like that. The same is true with the personal care products that you use. Our bodies are sponges, and they absorb, and they react to it, and many years later. And women, what makes it exciting for me to have Lisa on board with us is the fact she brings a woman perspective. Because one thing about, guys, if our wives can get us to brush our teeth and comb our hair, they've done great for the day. But women, they'll use 15 to 30 products every single day. And they know how to use products. They know what people want. And Lisa, we talk color cosmetics, and oh, that's the wrong shade. Oh, it doesn't feel right. Oh, it's too dry. I'm like, holy cow, well, look at the ingredients. She tries them all, but lipstick on a pig, still a pig. But it's great to have her, and I think you'll start seeing more of her because she brings a perspective. I can find the ingredients, I can make the formulas, but she brings that personal touch that we need at Sizzle. And we have many other dynamic people there that do the same also. And so she's kind of the heart of Sizzle. And I think she's going to be starting up a website where she'll start taking some questions. And she's working really hard on color cosmetics, and she would probably love to hear your input.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Sizzle's really, really exciting, and we are cutting edge in everything we're doing. I mean, we live in the mecca of multi-level marketing, don't we?
Yeah.
In Utah Valley. It's amazing to drive down there. But who has the facility and the research and devoted to that more than we are? Nobody. And I can stand here and testify to that every day of the week. We do 1,000 to 1 what anybody else does. They come to us asking us what we can make, and the first thing is we want it unique, people will be excited, and what's the price? But by doing what we do, we can put so much more into it, and we can pay so much more out. So from a business standpoint and an opportunity, it's incredible. So when we bring out a product like Encompass 360, like Tom Senior's told me for years, vitamins, yeah, they're kind of exciting, but what makes it unique? We have unique things in there for brain, for immune system, for stamina, for fatigue, but it lays the base for good, solid nutrition. It fills every gap you have. The biggest question I had in Japan, why do I need vitamins when I'm taking Spectromax? And that's a big question, and I thought, I guess that makes sense to a lot of people. You are getting vitamins. You're getting vitamins in Fucoid. You're getting vitamins in Spectromax. You're getting vitamins in Eternity. But you're not getting guaranteed an RDA excess level. And there's 13 essential vitamins. When you take Spectromax, we're talking about something completely, well, not completely different, but very different with antioxidants. Some vitamins do act as an antioxidant. Vitamin E, vitamin C, they have antioxidant properties. But we need hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of antioxidants every day. Because we walk outside, the air we breathe, the water we breathe, the skincare, hair care products, the clothes that we wear, fumes from carpets, fumes from cars, paint. You're bombarded every single day. And what did Aubrey read in all of his science? 90% of all of our aging and illness is associated with free radical damage. Ultraviolet light, free radical damage. You look at some of these monks that live in these caves and monasteries, I mean, they're 70, 80 years old. They come out and they have skin like a 20-year-old because it hasn't been damaged from free radical damage. The food that we eat, our bodies produce free radical. A marathon runner, oh boy, that is really hard on your body. I mean, you think of the lactic acid and everything that's going on in their system, all their different metabolism. So to neutralize that, we don't just take vitamin C for that, which does work as an antioxidant. We need polyphenols, and they come from many different groups, many different plants. So when you're looking for broad spectrum antioxidants, that's Spectromax. We also have in there all of the trace minerals that are lacking in foods today. And so every day you take Spectromax, and then your body is fortified with these catechins and polyphenols that basically just grab a hold of these free radicals and neutralize them. So that's really an important product to take, and is very dissimilar to the Encompass 360. One thing about it, most people here are very familiar with good nutrition, but when you go out there to the world, you'll find out that most people aren't. But what is the #1 product sold? Multivitamin. Virtually, I think over age roughly 40, there's like 70-some-odd% of everybody buys a multivitamin. So it's a great product to tell people about because you have the very best out there. And if you take to the store, go look at the ingredients, and you'll see what they're missing. What they're missing in major minerals, what they're missing in vitamins, the percentages, because this is the latest research on the most bioavailable form of vitamins and else out there. So I'm glad to be here today. I'll be here throughout the rest of the evening, and so if you have questions, I would love to answer those for you, or shake your hand and get to know you, because this is the start of something really big. You're here for the right reason. You're strengthening your foundation, product knowledge, marketing. And I told him, I won't say one thing about coffee because I know Tom Sr. won't steal his thunder, but what an opportunity that is. And Aaron talked a lot about that and showed the video. Coffee's been around for how many hundreds or thousands of years, but guess who's doing it unique? Nobody's doing what we're doing. We have the world's healthiest. And if you look at the antioxidant power of Chaga, it is incredible. And you look at the weight loss ingredients that we have in that. This is a unique formula. When I tell people about it, like coffee, and I tell them why it's different, like, holy cow, what does somebody else think of that? I mean, this is the #2 commodity sold in the world, but only Sizzle's doing that. But this is just the start. What about next year? We have many things that we're working on. I've seen formulations we work on 20 years till we finally get them to market. And this is definitely where my interest lies. In fact, one of my sons is really big into this too. This is a family business. It's a family mission, and you're all part of the mission. So I really appreciate you being here, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom Maurer Jr., everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
CEO and co-founder of Sizzle International. If you can't tell, he knows a little bit about science, too. Just a little bit. So how are we feeling?
Awesome.
Good. Okay. We have just a little bit longer until Tom Maurer Sr. shows up. I'm not sure if he got pulled over or if he saw some people on the side of the road he had to talk to about the weight loss coffee. But he is on his way. No, he's saving the world, one country at a time. And he will be here, so we're excited for that. I wanted to take a minute, and you're welcome to walk out if you want while I'm talking. I won't get upset. But make sure you come back, because Tom Maurer Sr. will be here. But I wanted to tell you my story. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Fabian Loso, and there they go. I'm just kidding. And I'm one of those people that thinks he's funny, and it's okay if you don't. I'm all right with that. But I work with sales. I oversee sales in North America. Work with Aaron and the Maurers, and maybe for about 10 to 12 years or so, I've been involved in the network marketing industry. And I say 10 to 12 because there are a couple of years there that I can't really remember very well. I don't know if I was having a bad life or what was going on, but 10 to 12 years I was involved in network marketing, and I was very happy working on the corporate side of another company previous to the almost 3 years ago that I came over to Sizzle. And I won't say what company that was. But I kind of did what I do now. I talked to people. I got to travel and do meetings. I got to do webinars, conference calls, helped with strategy a little bit. But what was the big deal? The big deal was I was a sales guy, and I had to lie a little bit every single day, to convince people that what I was selling, what I had to offer, and what they could use to build their businesses was the best thing out there. Because every network marketing company has the best products and the best plan, right? Right? That's how it goes. How can that be? How can they all have the best? And how can I tell you that Sizzle's the best when everyone else says they're the best? And so, anyway, I was in the middle of this thing. I was at a company that had the best products and the best compensation plan. I'm kidding. And, just to compare some unit level there, they started at 1% on level 1, then went to 5% on level 2, 5% on level 3. And I'll stop there or you'll actually know what company I'm talking about. I don't want to badmouth anybody. But it was not the best plan out there. And, you know, some okay products. They made one or two of them, and then third-party manufactured the rest. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if, well, I won't go there. How many of you remember the plant this morning? That was good. That was good. Okay. So yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Any of you ever tried to buy a car? Yeah? Anyone bought a car recently?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, how'd it go?
Great.
No problems?
Nope.
No? Okay, we should lucked out. Okay, what's the stigma to buying a car? Well, someone's going to tell you the features and benefits. Someone's going to try to get you to spend a little bit more so that someone can make a little more commission. It's very similar to network marketing, actually. I'm just kidding. But they're selling you this car, and even if it's not a good car, and so they're not just selling the car, but they want to sell the worst car for the most amount of money. Okay? And I was pretty good at that. I was pretty good at bringing those skills into working as a corporate employee in network marketing. Right? I wanted to sell the least valuable product for the most amount of money and convince groups all over North and South America that it was worth sharing. Okay? And they did. And it was successful and great. We're all happy. Now, when I met somebody that introduced me to Aaron and the Mowers, I was a little interested, but not too much. And I kind of saw it through. I was pretty happy with what I was doing, but I thought it was interesting that a company claimed to make its own products. Okay? Really? I'm like, okay, come on. And I was offered an opportunity to come learn a little bit more about it and take a tour of the manufacturing facility. And sure enough, there I find myself in the plant that you were all in today, and being shown where the raws come in and what they do in the labs and how they make the fucoidin, and the resveratrol has to be cured in the dark, and all the nice little details that we share day in and day out with everybody that make Sizzle's products the best in the industry. Yeah, I just said it. That makes Sizzle's products the best in the industry. I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty cool. I've never heard of this company before. And it's a funny name, Sizzle. Who thought of that? Just kidding. We had the other slide up there, right? Science, innovation, success, energy, longevity. Hopefully you know the acronym. And I thought, wow, these guys actually make their own product. If I worked here, I wouldn't have to lie about that. So that's a start. Then I learned that the products actually do something. And then I learned that the plant paid 3 times more than the company I was currently promoting. And I had my ways of making it sound good, don't worry. I was pretty good, you know. And it usually involved, hey, you're going to be a millionaire soon, real soon. You know, you're going to drive that fancy car and get in that private jet. And guess what? Are there companies out there that sell you the dream like it's going to happen tomorrow? And we need to sell dreams.
Amen.
We need to sell dreams. But they're not going to happen tomorrow. Why? Because that's a scam, right?
That's right.
It takes a little bit of work. It takes 2 years, maybe. It takes 5 years. Okay? Cafe weight loss?
There you go.
Done. Okay. And there we are, talking about, hey, we have a real dream here. We have real products. We have a real plan that pays. And if you do it, if you work it, you share it, you're going to get healthy, you're going to live longer, and you're going to make a lot of money. And I was so blown away by the non-gimmick approach, the non-smoke and mirrors, the no celebrity ripping his shirt off to sell our products. And yeah. And the steady growth that this company that I'd never heard of had been having since their original launch in Japan in very, very late 06, early 07. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go home and talk to my wife about this, and I did. And I've been with Sizzle International ever since, and I don't plan on doing anything else.
Yeah.
whether I end up being a distributor someday, who knows? Just kidding, Tom Maurer Sr. is in the back of the room. I have to be careful with that one. But he is here today, folks, and he's here to talk to everybody. And I'm excited to be able to bring him on. He has a special message for you tonight. He let us use his home for 2 whole days. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
And he does consider you his personal guest. So I'm not gonna delay much longer. Other than now, you know my story. You know why I'm here, and it's because I don't have to lie anymore.
Well,
That's why I'm here. Okay? And so, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce the president and co-founder of Sizzle International, Mr. Tom Maurer Sr.
Yeah.
Hello. No mic stand, I guess. Well, I like to talk with my hands. Unfortunately, today I'm a little congested. My 7-year-old daughter, she tells me she's 7 and a half. Brings everything back from school. You know how that is when you get it. But I hope you've had a great event. It's been good.
Yes.
I think you can see our staff is really ready to help you and to do things and do it right. It's kind of fun to have a retreat like this up in the mountains, isn't it? We've actually been, Tom Jr. and I were talking just yesterday, we're thinking about Maurer Mountain. We have Maurer Mountain here, you know, about a year. And we're saying, maybe we ought to have Maurer Mountain for the winter. Of course, maybe some of you that come from back east had enough winter. You know, we always have to summer a lot of things here, but woods is a fun place for the winter. We had snowmobiles, tubes to go tubing off the side of this mountain. It's up here. Have you seen that thing? We could take the dozer up there and turn enough. You'll be catching air by the time you're down the bottom. It'll be a lot of fun. Big bonfires at night and things like that. It's really a great place to live. And all made possible because of network marketing. Been amazing for what you can do with network marketing if you will but do it. And that's what I want to talk to you about today in my short speech for however long it is to tell you you can accomplish anything that you can conceive. You can achieve it. You can conceive it, you can achieve it. But it takes one thing, and that is work. And if you're not willing to work, guess what? Defeat is going to come all the way to you. And nothing's going to change. All those sayings that you hear about if it's to me, it's up to me. Yes, it is up to you. But you can do things that are ineffective, and you can spend a lot of time doing things that are not productive, or you can work hard and smart. And network marketing is a vehicle to work hard and smart because we realize one thing. What we get in life is because of what we have helped others to get in their lives. But this is not a business. It's a social business. There's no doubt about that. And it's nice to socialize, and we are all in this common cause together. But you need to remember one thing. We are a multi-level marketing company. And I have to tell our employees that all of the time. Understand this. If you are working in the call center, you're in marketing. If you're somebody working on the production line, you're in marketing. Because everything we do goes to one thing, to make the sale, to give you the product so you can make the sale or you can use them. And if a janitor is emptying the garbage can, he's in sales because he's working to make everything work the best it can to create sales. And so you are the ultimate tip of the iceberg on this. The big superstructure that's down below is all here to support you in doing what? Making sales, recruiting, number one thing to do. Number one. It far surpasses everything else. But we're not, I love them and leave them. You know, and this is not a business where you're going out and you're finding them, getting them in, and then who is the next victim? Okay? That's how most network marketing companies work. That's the thesis that binaries are constructed for. You collapse, the line comes in, the people at the top get richer because of it. That's not the way this works. This is a unilevel. This is the fairest way of making money. But it has to come upon people using, buying, and selling products. And if you're not in that business, then you're not doing it the business that way, you're on the wrong track. So number one thing, you should be recruiting. Number two is training. And number three, developing. And in that order, okay? So I would advise you to spend at least 75% of your time in recruiting new distributors. I don't care how big you are in this company, if you're not out doing it, if you're not in the midst of it, you're not in the fight, you're not in the action. One of my role models in life was Alexander the Great. Have you ever read about him? Mm-hmm. I mean, he was, of course, a lot like maybe Dr. Fiz. He partied a lot at night, you know, and stuff like that. But during the day, there was nobody like him. And when he went to battle, he went to the forefront. You see, if you remember, we got anybody from the South here? Yeah. Okay, from the South? Okay, when the war ended, the Confederate Revolution, if you call it, when that war ended, Lee met Grant, okay? Lee looked like a general, and he was probably the greatest general of the war. Grant came up, and he was dressed as a private. Did you know that? Dressed as a private. Lee had his hat on, decorated. He was a general. Yeah, Grant was a general too, but he was dressed as a private because he didn't want anybody shooting him. Because you look for the officers. Well, I'll tell you what, Alexander the Great, he came out, he had plumes on, he had robe, his shining armor, a horse like no other, and he rode into battle and everybody followed him. And where he went, they couldn't figure it out, because when he said attack, they attacked, they followed, because he was the role model to do it. And in one mighty battle where they were having, and they couldn't conquer this city that they were fighting, they were trying to get to the tops of it. And somehow, Alexander the Great got on the top, and he stood on the wall. And he stood up there, and they have a shield bearer with some of that's like that, so they can fight behind the shield. And he stood on the wall, and on the one side was all the enemy. On the other side was all of his Greek forces. And they looked at him, and he was standing up there, and he was alone. You know what he did? The smart darn thing, get down that ladder real quick, because there's nobody to back you up. But he went over the top. He leaped over the top. And over the top with him went his shield bearer. And the two of them disappeared. And they had been trying for days and days, and they could not get up over this big walls. And when they saw him go over the top, they couldn't run hard enough. They were breaking ladders to get up over the top, and the whole army went up over the top and followed him because he led the way it was meant to be led. Now that's the kind of leadership we're looking for. Are you that kind of a leader?
Yes.
Are you going to be first on the class? We have a mighty army, and we've got swords, shields, horses, everything that it takes to win this. Business is war. Do you know that? You ever thought of it? Yeah. Business is war. You're competing for the same objective against somebody else with formidable forces. So what do you have to fight with? You've got products like no other. You know, I'm working for a big company, chemical company once. And the owner, he had really a crazy name. His name was Rocco Yaus. And Rocco Yaus was one of the most dynamic people I ever met in my life. Really spectacular. And we had, probably about 500 salespeople around. The top professional salespeople. This was in industrial chemicals. And he walked out and he was talking about how great these salesmen were and how they were doing it. And he took a bottle of product, and he took that product and he just threw it. He threw it clear across this huge convention center we had. He was in the middle of it. We're all in a big circle. And he talked about, he said, anybody can make this blankety blank stuff. And I sat there, I listened to him. I was kind of a rookie. I was one of the younger ones who was there. But then they had 10 people speak. 10 people who were doing well in one area of industrial chemicals or another. and I was one of the 10. I was probably the only one there in his 20s. So all the others come up and they spoke, and because I was the youngest, I got to speak last. And so they all spoke and talked about their systems and how they worked, and they did something like that. But not one of them picked that bottle up and picked it and put it back up on the stand where Rocco had thrown it, you know. And so they walked around it, and everybody could see it. I get up there, and I thanked everyone. I walked over, and I picked up that bottle. And I said, "You see Rocco throw this bottle?" Everybody did, of course. I said, "You know what? When he threw that, it hurt me. I was hurt. Because I believe in that product. I know what it can do. And my livelihood is based upon selling that product. So when he threw it, to say you do a great job, I know he meant that, but it hurt me because I believe that product's the best one in the marketplace. And that's the kind of products I want to have and sell." And then I went on and talked about my product. When I got done, there was questions and answers, and one of the questions that came with this was that they said, "How do you overcome the high price?" And see, we're making powerful industrial chemicals. How do you go into some place where they used to buy an economy? How do you overcome the price objective? And I said, it's simple. When you sell the quality of the product, the price almost never means anything. So sell the quality of the product, and the price is inconsequential. And I said, over 90% of the sales that I make, the customer never asks me how much it is. Can you imagine that? Never asked me. So I went cold calling once. They put me in a territory to build a territory. And I went to the top of the tallest building, Salt Lake. Tallest building. And I started at the top, and I called on every office all the way down. When I got done, I went to the next tallest building in the top of Salt Lake. And when I got to the bottom, I had called on over 300 accounts, and I had sold every one but one. Only one didn't buy from me. Yep. And I remember to the day, and I have never insured anything but Travelers Insurance since then. I can tell you. But the thing is, selling quality is important. And what we're talking about here is quality of life. That's our business opportunity. That's the best product we have. We have products like no other. We have a compensation plan like no other. We have an opportunity that is gigantic now. There is no company that has this kind of thing. Do you know that, just to tell you a little bit on our coffee that's coming out, we'll talk about coffee here a bit, but our coffee in January, we just brought out what really hit in November, and in January we sold quite a bit of coffee. But at the 14th of February, we had sold more coffee than we had sold for the entire month of January. Wow. And why are we selling coffee so good? I mean, suppose we took Folgers and we put it on our line and we were selling Folgers. How much coffee do you think you'd sell?
Nothing.
Not much, would you? You'd have some people who'd be using it because they're loyal to the team. But we have coffee like no other. It's the world's best flavor. It's the only real health coffee in the world. And you know why it is? Look on your Facebook in the morning. And if you're looking on my side, and it will show you, in California, all coffee companies have to put the coffee causes cancer. According to Proposition 65. They cause cancer. And I got a picture of Starbucks coffee sitting there, and a sign right next to it, warning, it causes cancer. How about Dunkin' Donuts? How about McDonald's? How about every other coffee company that's there? They have to put that sign on. We're not going to put that sign on unless we find there's some legal thing we do to avoid lawsuits. Because one thing you know about California, pretty nice place to live, but there's lots of parasites down there. They're called attorneys. And nothing to cure yet. So if we do something to get rid of the parasites, we might have to. Because lawsuits are expensive and they take a lot of time. But here's the deal. The way they roast coffee, they create acrylamides. And acrylamides are cancer-causing agents because they roast it, and they roast it above 330 degrees. In fact, coffee is roasted from 450 to about 480 degrees. Do you know what we cook our coffee? So here's a new term. We cook our coffee. We don't roast our coffee. We cook our coffee through infrared, not through flames. You're not throwing it into this big hopper with flames going out, roasting it, burning it, making it crispy at 450 to 480 degrees. We're cooking it to perfection at 280, about 200 degrees less. Underneath the 330, it causes acrylamides to form, you see, in the coffee. Now, that's a pretty good reason to drink our coffee, isn't it? So what does our coffee do? If it doesn't cause cancer, you bet your hippie the ingredients in it can fight cancer. What kind? What you got? And those can fight, you know. It can get after colon cancer. It gets after liver cancer. And many different types of cancer, our fibers are found right within our coffee itself. Forget the other ingredients we put in it. Our coffee fights cancer. It also, coffee is bad for the heart. You know, you burn toast, you accrete those acrylamides. You get it darker, more acrylamides. Ours is roasted to, or cooked to perfection, see? So new term, not roasted, cooked to perfection when it's there. Why do they cook it so high temperature? Because they want to make all those oils crispy so they can grind it. Because oil lubricates and they can't grind it. So what do? We take a look. The oils are the best tasting part of it. The oils have got most of the health benefits in it. So we want to burn them black and roast them crispy and destroy all those great benefits because everybody else does it. Well, guess what? I mean, that product. This product means a lot to me, no matter what it is. And if it's coffee, it means a real lot to me. And I'm not going to put out a dangerous one. I'm not going to put out one that causes cancer. I'm going to put out one that fights cancer. I'm going to put out one that's not bad for the heart, as they all are. I'm going to put out one that's good for the heart. I'm going to put out one that the studies show the ingredients build clusters of brain cells. And if you do coffee wrong, it doesn't work. We do coffee right, and it does work. How is that? And that's just in the coffee. And then you look at it. You want a good tasting cup of coffee, a bitter tasting cup of coffee? You just want a cup of coffee? Or do you want a cup of the world's best tasting coffee? That's what we've got. We've got it like no other. Dad, we're up here, Doc and Dan, and I don't know if anyone else is here. It was up at the Western Expo, but Steve, I know he's gone back now, he came up and told me, he said, all of the hundreds or thousands of people that come through here, there was not one single person that didn't say this was the best tasting cup of coffee they ever drank in their life. Now, how do you get a product like that? You get a product like that because you care. And that's where it is, and it starts at the top. And so just like Alexander the Great, he would plume himself up, and he would ride into battle. And they didn't know how to stop him. So one of the kings of Macedonia, they tried to stop him, and they had their army. They said, okay, now this group here, everything that Alexander the Great does, you do on the other side. So if he rode this way, they rode this way. He rode this way, they rode this way. Whatever moves he made, they mimicked every single thing. And when the battle was over, he'd knock the crap out of them. Because he was leading them away. Well, the others went in. He knew how to do it. He knew how to lead. But they looked at him because he was such a great leader, and he was a great leader with that. And he had many other great leaders. And when he died, 17 nations were formed from the great leaders that followed him to that. It's a pity he did because of that. But anyway, that's the way that you can be. You can be a great leader. You've got an army like no other behind you. You've got products like people would like to have. They think they're out there somewhere. They just can't get their hands on them. The problem is they can't. They're too expensive to make. But we have this massive plant. It's paid for. That 300-400% markup that we'll charge somebody else, we put in the products. What does that mean? I mean, that means power like no other. That means doing things like no other company has ever done before in history. That means we're the true Trekkies of MLM. We're going to worlds that have never been seen, never been conquered, going to places, developing new things beyond imagination. If you think we're ahead of the future, we are just that. If it sounds too good to be true, it is us. because that's the kind of thing we're doing with these products. Now, you take a look at what we have. Who are you? Male, female, questionable, whatever you are. We have something for you. Gray hair, no hair, long hair, we got it all. We can take care of you with it. Fat, thin, somewhere in between, older, younger, whatever you want to be, we got it. We got it like no other product. Women, I'll tell you what, women across America and across Canada and all over the world would, if they truly knew, if we could go up to them and just stand there, and if I could be Spock and just put my hand on their head and give them a Vulcan mind transplant, they would be wired out of their gourd because of what we have. Because we can do things for women that they dream to have done. Their hormones going to be balanced. Balanced. So every day is a good day. Now you've heard it, haven't you, ladies? Yeah, how many are using energy for her and have found that? Yeah, that stuff works. It really works. And so it doesn't matter how old you are. The biological factors are in your system, and your skin starts to grow and reproduce like you're 20 again. And so does your hair, and your eyelashes, and your fingernails. And hair gets moist, and hormones, and everything goes into balance. And now you can build bone the way you want instead of losing bone. Take calcium K2 with it, and you'll see your bone density go up. If you're 70, it's going down. If you're 60, it's going down. Now you pick it, and it goes up, up, up. 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. Interesting?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We can put the power within you. The Chinese said it right. The human body has the ability to create energy, to live a long time, to become incredibly healthy if you but give it the proper nutrients and remove the toxins and the waste. Okay, we live in a toxic environment, but we know how to get those things, and we can do it. Thanks for Doc. Oh, Doc, okay. Is that your favorite flavor? Okay. Well, we won't get on to any fruity things here other than Spectromax, which has 40 different fruits in it. But here's the deal. Your body has the ability to maintain, to create, to regenerate, if you can but feed it with the things it needs to do it. And we got it. And we got it in spades, if you know that term. We have really got it. Energy for her, man, you're back functioning like you're in your 20s again. TSX, we're rewinding the clock, your biological time clock. And every day you get Eternity activates the very genes that grew you to becoming about age 25 and then switched off or slowed down. And now we put them on full throttle. Going backwards. Fucoid, arguably, not even arguably, it is one of the greatest cancer-causing immune system builders in the world. It signals about 24 different cell signaling systems within your body. There's nothing like it. I was down in Fukushima in Japan this past year, and a doctor came down from the leading university. And Jackie, I think you've got that, what is that book called? The Miracle of Fukuoka. What a book that is. And a doctor that's referencing that from Fukushima, he came down and talked, and he said, I came down to find out how come your Fukuoka is so much more powerful than the one that we're making, that we're selling. And their product sells for $900 a month. $900. And he said, why is yours so much more powerful? He had met me once before. He said, we've tested it, and yours is a lot more effective than ours. I tell him why. I said, because we sulfonated, and we have a patent on it. Nobody else can do it. You see? So we take it, we make it 800% more effective with it. 800% more. And then we do a few other things. Increase the bioavailability. In short, it just works better because it's made better, and we've done it the best it could. And our sales for $50-some, and their sales for $900 for a month's supply.
Yeah.
So if you get that book and read about it, it's really quite amazing. The amazing power of Fucoid. It is like nothing else, and we've got it. what they do is they grind up a little of the limamui and put between 1.6 and 1.8% of it in water. It's just slightly yellow, and that's what they sell you for that thing.